from a beautiful lakefront Chi-town Saturday. No, it's not Saturday. I keep thinking it's Saturday. It's Friday. It's Black Friday. And I'm really happy that my dispatch got me home early. I actually was home yesterday or in my home terminal, but I filmed a video, which I'll probably show before this, so I don't need to spiel on that. I'm in the best mood. And it's kind of weird that I'm in such a good mood because this is my last weekend living in Chicago for a while. And you'd think I'd be more sad, but I'm not letting myself be sad. I'm just shutting that down. When I start to feel like, oh, well, no, because I went through that already. I went through that transition of sadness, like before when I first was, getting ready to embark on this trucking adventure. I went through that. I realized that Chicago's going to be here for me. I'm coming back here. This is my home. This is where I feel safe. This is where I feel the most like it's cool to be myself. And there's so much I haven't done here yet. There's, one of the things that drives me crazy is being a working person, especially working in the service industry. You miss out on a lot of things because you're just working a lot. And I haven't taken advantage of like the museums. There's actually a show I'd really love to see at the Field Museum right now, but I'm not going to go to that because I have too much other stuff to do. It's always like that. My hope is that when I have had enough of my road adventure, I will come back and I'll make a point of doing some of the things that I didn't get to do before. I have friends here. I feel just madly in love with this place, and particularly, as you all know, this lake. So I'm going to really enjoy my time here this weekend. I'm about to do some cold therapy. I'm really stoked about that. And then I'm going to go back to my apartment and take one of my last few baths that I'm going to be able to take for a while. And I'm going to just enjoy myself. And I'm just happy because I have a 3-day weekend to finish moving out of my apartment. I'm almost completely moved out. There's just a few little things left. And I'm going to shop for things I need for the road. Groceries, stock up on non-perishable items and stuff like that. Just gonna take my time and enjoy myself, and just bask in the gratitude of all that I have to be thankful for. I guess that's a little bit redundant, right? But I have so much to be grateful for. I'm so healthy. I have the privilege of being able to have an adventure. I'm not saddled with children. I'm saddled with a lot of debt, and because I'm able to do something like trucking, I'm able to make a little headway on paying some of that down because I can live in my truck for a while. That's pretty cool. And so, there's always different ways of looking at things, and trucking is a really hard life, and I'm not thinking I'm going to get rich by doing it. I think I'm going to have a lot of challenging experiences, but I'm having fun though. I'm having an adventure, and when I've had enough of that for a while, I can come right back home. Good morning. Don't be shocked when I tell you I'm having a fucking annoying morning. I feel like that's every start of week video is me talking about what a fucking annoying morning I'm having and feeling like a dick because I don't want to just make repetitive videos that are bitching about the same stuff all the time. But I also am, documenting my experience, and that is unfortunately part of it. Today was another wild goose chase for a trailer, and this time, because this shipper that they were sending me to apparently requires them to leave an empty trailer in order to take a loaded one, they sent me, of course I was supposed to grab an empty from the yard, and when I went on my hunt around the yard, I saw that there were other drivers sitting in front of the trailers that were listed as empty. Of course, they were claimed already because there were only a couple of them, and of course they're going to get claimed quickly. They literally sent me on Monday morning after a holiday weekend, rush hour Chicago area traffic, 20 miles out of the way from the shipper into Chicago. So that forced me to come back through Chicago on 290 going toward downtown and then veering back toward Indiana during fucking rush hour morning traffic. And I was just like, okay, well, that's my day. Bye money, bye day. So what else can I tell you? Annoying traffic, hunting for trailers, same old shit. Oh, and then I found out that I finally got switched over to this national account today. I had hoped to see more states than I will on this particular account. And had I switched to the flatbed account that I was looking at, the curtain side flatbed account, I would be going to all 48 states. And I still am interested in doing that, but I think I'd rather do it after the winter months, because the cold weather and being out in the elements compounds any pain issues that I have. And because I know securement is going to pose certain risks / challenges to my existing physical issues, I want to like make any transition into that easier. Not to mention going from a regional account where I'm mostly driving in 2 or 3 states to one where I'm driving through significantly more territory. You know, bite off one little bit at a time and see how that goes before going full on, I guess. I officially moved out of my apartment this weekend. I moved everything into storage, and it's like the, I don't know, 3rd move or something. I feel like I'm constantly moving. My lifestyle has become super transient, where I'm moving things in and out of storage, in and out of different apartments, in and out of the truck, in and out of hotels. It's been like that pretty much most of the year, and it's kind of exhausting and stressful, and I definitely felt that in my mood today, just like wanting to throttle every dumb motherfucker that cut me off in traffic today, instead of just sort of inwardly rolling my eyes at them. Oh man, I'm just trying to getting through the day. So I made myself, I'm getting creative with the morning beverages here, because I'm trying not to overdo caffeine, even though I only got about 5.5 hours of sleep last night ish, and I'm pretty tired today. But I'm sitting at this shipper, which was supposed to be a drop and hook, and of course turned into a live, well, it's not even a live load. They're still loading the trailer. I knew it was going to be some shit like this. So who cares about getting delayed in traffic when things aren't even ready for you when you get there? And she said they were shorthanded and stuff. I'm like, that's trucking, baby. Like my dad says, that's the way it goes. So I got a couple of more ingredients to sort of up my nutrient intake, because I'm like thinking about not being able to go to stores as often, just different aspects of like not being able to get as much nutrition in as I would like. So I have very mixed feelings about protein supplementation. I will give you a side note about that in a moment, but I got this Garden of Life plant-based protein. Is it all plant-based? With sprouted seeds and grains and probiotics and stuff. Garden of Life, I think, is a pretty good supplement brand. I have a lot of skepticism about supplements in general, but especially having worked in the fitness industry, there's so much snake oil salesmanship happening. And we'll just say, here's the spiel I was going to say. I really love the Institute of Human Anatomy, Institute of Human Anatomy. That was kind of tough to say. YouTube. And if you like gross anatomy and you're not grossed out, I recommend it. It's fascinating. Man, the stuff they have in there is so good. And I think it was them that did this. If it wasn't them, I will find the other video and link it. But there's a great video I watched about protein. I always suspected, like back when I was doing bodybuilding and stuff, I was consuming a stupid amount of protein. I knew it was really unhealthy for me. I was having some weird issues as a result of it. I was just consuming a shitload of like protein powder based protein, like fucking whey protein, which is like gross byproduct of the dairy industry that they just got to get rid of. And then they're like, how can we sell this to people and tell them that it's good for them when it's probably fucking not? Not to mention the amount of artificial sweeteners that are in that shit that just stoke your desire to consume sugar, because they give you a sort of like false insulin response. I put marshmallows in this, by the way, because of course I did. And then I'll continue my protein spiel in a minute, but I had used, in my previous video with the chai, I had used a little packet of this stuff. I decided to splurge and get a bigger one. The scoop is really tiny. It has a lot more servings. It's a much better value than getting an individual packet or two. And it has 10 mushroom species and 3 botanical adaptogens. And who knows if this stuff is really bioavailable, if it really does everything that it claims to do, but I don't know, man. Mushrooms are amazing, and I know they're really healthy for you. So I thought, let me just give it a try. So I put that in there, and then here's to all you, sorry for the extreme armpit view there, nostalgia people, Ovaltine. When I was a kid, my brother used to drink the fuck out of some Ovaltine. I just like it. I like the malt flavor. you know, it's a little bit chocolatey. So I made myself a drink with that stuff, and I put a little bit, of course, some turmeric in it. I just always find ways to add a little extra turmeric in my diet, and a pinch of cayenne, a little extra salt. It's not super sweet. It could probably use a little bit more, but that's why I threw some marshmallows in it. And it's actually pretty good. I like a mildly chocolatey drink. Okay, you're gonna laugh when I tell you the other thing I put in it, because it wasn't sweet enough at all, and it was kind of bland. I have these, I love Lindt truffles, and I have these Christmassy ones that have peppermint cookie pieces in them. Basically, they are like those Thin Mints. They're fucking good, man. So I put one of those in there so it'd melt in. This is how I try to work on my fucking attitude problem that I've been having today, by giving myself something healthy and something sweet and enjoyable, and then I'm gonna top it off by eating some handfuls of this spinach and arugula, because that always makes me feel really good. And it's one of the ways I offset all the poor abuse my gut takes from sitting in a seat all day and not getting enough physical activity. I should exercise while I'm here, but I don't know if I'm going to, because I'm tired and I feel lazy, and I'll probably do a little bit at a stop later in the day. Yeah. All right, I realized I didn't kind of finish what I was saying about protein. So basically, protein supplementation, like protein powders, are completely unregulated, and so they make all kinds of claims about how good they are for you, and like they have all these nutrients added to them. And I've read so many different things over the years about nutrition and food and the way your body uses it, and I think that there's so much about it that we think we understand, but we don't. I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make, and that's why I'm saying that, you know, I'm adding this mushroom powder, and I'm using, you know, Ovaltine that has spray vitamins in it basically, and I'm using a protein powder that has a bunch of stuff in it supposedly. But I'll intake those things and hope that they're beneficial, and I'd like to think that they are, because your body, it's like they're more maybe bioavailable, meaning your body can consume them more readily, because they're sort of, it's like pre-digested nutrients, you know, your body doesn't have to work to take in those nutrients. But then you have to ask, what's the source of those nutrients, and are they in the form that is best absorbed by the body? And that's sort of the brilliance of food. It's like whole food, is that food, it comes equipped with the nutrients and the different chemical compounds that help different nutrients absorb in your body. And then there's so many different culinary traditions, like Indian food is a great example, where they use different spices that in conjunction help your body with absorbing nutrients or with digestion. And it's just really interesting to think about that stuff. And it makes me think that when we oversimplify nutrition and think that we can just take a pill to get what we need and take a bunch of pills to get all the things that we need, I think we're really missing the broader point, which is that, like, the best we can possibly do is have whole food that is unmolested by all the things that we think we are doing positively with food, with science for food. And then why is it that so many of us are so sick? You know, why is it that obesity is such a normal mainstream condition? It's way more complicated than willpower. It has a lot to do with, like, not just how much people eat, but the actual thing that they're consuming, the food and the non-food that many of us consume. And I'm sorry, I'm going on a giant fucking tangent, because I kind of hate talking about, I may not seem like it, but I kind of hate talking about this stuff, because I feel like it's impossible. And the misinformation about nutrition has been going on for so long. When I was in high school, my dad would get on these different kicks all the time, and for a while he was like, we're gonna be vegetarian, and then he's like, you know, all these different things. And any of you who remember the early 90s, remember that there was this whole thing where all of a sudden fat was the devil, and like everything was fat-free this and fat-free that, and it was just loaded with sugar, and it was so bad. And we used to eat the hell out of that stuff and think we were doing something good for ourselves. You know, it was kind of during that time when everyone started to get bigger and bigger, and so many people started to like gain weight. And you know, you could get into you get really bogged down with things like how we allow our government to subsidize corn and soy production, so that we have such a glut of those things that, like, we're paying to add unnecessary sugar to our food, which makes it addictive, which makes us buy more of it, which makes us sicker, which makes us require more pharmaceuticals. Oh, I'm getting into conspiracy theory territory. So I'm going to stop there because I'm not trying to make this a fucking rant that'll turn my comments into a shit show. Man, that's why I never want, basically where I'm going with this is when I talk about things I try to add to my diet to be healthier, I never want to be like, you should do this, because, you know, when I was a trainer, I had quotas to make with selling supplements and I sucked at it. The only things I consistently sold, and I intentionally didn't sell anything else, I sold protein powder, which at the time I thought was healthy, and now I know most protein powders are fucking garbage, I think. I sold multivitamin, which is arguably beneficial, very arguably, and then I sold glutamine. And I do think that amino acids are definitely beneficial because I've felt the difference from using them myself, especially if you work out a lot and you need a little help with recovery. Taking branched chain amino acids and glutamine, not really a bad idea. Can't really hurt you because amino acids are in your food anyway. Again, fuck, it's so hard to talk about that stuff without going on annoying tangents. I apologize, but yeah, just don't listen to me is what I'm saying. Listen to your body and read things. Educate yourself as much as you can about food. Don't listen to fucking people that are trying to sell you stuff because they have an agenda, and always be skeptical about food, especially when it's labeled as healthy. Especially if you live in the country, you live near farms, and you can go get fresh eggs and you can get fresh produce that's locally grown and pesticide free and all that stuff. If that of it is available to you, it's undeniably your best bet. And especially if you eat meat and you can get that from a small producer or a local farm, fucking awesome. And support a small farm at the same time. That's the way to go. That's the dream. Okay, enough. I'm making myself annoyed.